celebrate tonight.
The same, yeah, let's do it.
It was a very different time back then, 23 years ago. It was better. It was a better time. I spent the weekend, like probably a lot of you did, looking at my phone and just feeling shocked and sick about what is happening in Minneapolis. These one video after another, screaming people being torn from their families, Americans, people who were born in the United States being pulled out of their cars for the crime of having an accent or whatever, children, small children, babies being tear gassed, taken into custody, separated from their parents. Just one atrocity after another being committed by this gang of poorly trained, shamefully led, mask-wearing goons. And that is what they are. They're goons committing vile, heartless, and even criminal acts. And it's sickening to watch, and it's frustrating to watch. It's like we're all being forced to play a game that has no rules. They just make up the rules as they go along. We see these videos in which we clearly see one of our fellow Americans executed by ICE, and they won't even admit that it was a mistake. They say that the Honda SUV Renee Good was driving was weaponized. They say the gun Alex Preddy had a license to carry in an open carry state. All right, many of these same people screamed very loudly about when it was Kyle Rittenhouse carrying the gun, a gun that Alex Preddy did not even draw, did not touch, a gun that was taken from him by one of the agents before he was shot dead by the other ones. They fired 10 times on an ICU nurse. They're telling us, well, it was justified, you know? Is that the law and order that you voted for if you voted for this? Every day is a nightmare now. My wife and I have family in Minneapolis. They're afraid to take their kids to school. They're afraid to go to work. And I can only imagine how people who aren't white feel about this. How does this end? What's the plan here? Is the plan to just keep doing this in every city that didn't vote for Donald Trump? Does anyone on any side believe this is good leadership? We keep saying we need to find subjects that we can agree on. Can we agree that peaceful protesters, including moms driving SUVs on their way back after dropping their 6-year-old off at school, and a nurse who stepped in to protect a woman from harm, don't deserve to be shot dead in the street by the people we are paying to protect us? Can we agree on that? I mean, Can we agree that when we see a person murdered in cold blood, that there should at least be an investigation of that? And that our head of, our ironically titled head of Homeland Security has the responsibility to get facts before telling us that what we saw we did not see. I mean, if we can't agree on that, forget it then. This one seems pretty open and shut to me. I think we can agree on this one. It's on video. Look at it. Do your own research. And then once you form your own opinion without being told what you saw, say something. Where are the reasonable voices on the right? I mean, we don't have to agree on everything, but come on. If that was a group of trans swimmers shooting a guy for making a cell phone video, you'd be heating up the electric chairs right now. Admit it, you would. Let's cut the bullshit already, because it may be Fox, but it ain't news.
Agents reasonably thought that they were in danger because a gun was produced.
If he's armed and they knew he was armed, it was imperative for them to take him down.
And now here, literally a guy pulls a gun on an ICE officer. He defends himself.
When you're seeing a gun in your face and you're in the scuffle, then you have to, again, assume that is a gun.
And you could tell in that moment that they saw something or something spooked them, because they all back off all of a sudden, and then you hear shots fired.
You've got an armed individual, you know, somebody holding a gun up to Border Patrol. Of course you are going to see a reaction.
Do you think these are all just local Minneapolis folks who have decided to go out on a sub-zero day?
Only one person could have prevented this from happening, and it's Alex Preddy.
What he did put agents in a situation where they had to use deadly force.
These officers very well could have prevented a major mass shooting of multiple officers today.
Oh, please. If that was ISIS instead of ICE, we'd be firing missiles at somebody and pledging allegiance to the flag altogether right now. Watch that video. Watch every angle, as upsetting as it might be, and decide for yourself if that's making America great. And if it isn't, please say something about it. This has to stop. And I'm convinced now that the only people who can stop it are on the right. I know it takes a lot of courage to go against your tribe or whatever it is, but that's what we need. We need some decent people on the right to show some courage and some common sense. And if our leaders aren't even trying to reduce the amount of chaos in the street rather than exacerbating it. If our leaders are intentionally creating and encouraging violence and fear, then I hope you will also agree we need new leaders, because these are not leaders. And to the people of Minneapolis, to the Preddy family and the Good family, and these people who were looking out for their neighbors, we want you to know that we are with you and you are not alone. All right, I'll tell you another thing. We also want to see those Epstein files already. I don't believe Trump has a plan of any kind when he does this stuff, but I think the scoundrels who work for him do, who runs the Justice Department, sent a letter to the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, asking for, among other things, all of Minnesota's voter rolls in exchange for de-escalation from ICE. She sent him a cease and desist to be a democracy letter, which Governor Walz, to his credit, flatly denied.
Look, I think everybody understands what the last request was, totally unrelated to anything on the voter files. This is, again, as the Attorney General said, Donald Trump telling everybody that the election was rigged, who started all this nightmare for America, has nothing to do with it. And I would just give a pro tip to the Attorney General. There's 2 million documents in the Epstein files we're still waiting on. Go ahead and work on those.
Yeah. Called the Minnesota mic drop right there. He's going balls to the walls. You know, that should be the response to any question on any topic involving Pam Bondi or Donald Trump. Where are those Epstein files already? Tim Walz and President Trump spoke on the phone today. Trump said they had a very good call, which I think for Trump means he didn't call him the R word during the call. That's progress. The fact that Trump even got on the phone with Tim Walz shows you he knows he's made a mess here. He's also sending somebody in to replace his #1 ICE hole in Minneapolis, the head of the Border Patrol, Greg Bovino, this is Greg Bovino's high school yearbook. And this is what would happen if the Proud Boys recruited McLovin. This is what he would turn into. That year, Greg and a cantaloupe with a hole in it were named cutest couple. He was voted most in his ass. Minneapolis to go terrorize other cities, which I'm sure has nothing at all to do with this insane statement he made on CNN.
With respect, it feels as though in some ways you're blaming the victim here.
The victims are the Border Patrol agents. I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. The victim are the Border Patrol agents. The suspect put himself in that situation. The victims are the Border Patrol agents there.
The victims are the Border Patrol agents, not the people who are dead. It seems like maybe even Trump's had enough of Greg and his crossbody bag, because this morning he wrote, "I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will report directly to me." Oh, good, that will help. This is Tom Homan, if you're not familiar. This is, you know the saying, he's not as dumb as he looks? He is just as dumb. It was widely reported that the FBI caught Tom Homan on tape in September of 2024 accepting $50,000 in cash in a fast food bag from undercover agents posing as private contractors in exchange for a promise to help them score border enforcement contracts in the new Trump administration. And this is the guy they're sending to Minnesota to fix things, to help round up the criminals there. In the Trump administration, we could have another government shutdown on our hands. Things are running like a Swiss watch. It's just